Morning guys, Dr. Corey here. Welcome to Monday and your motivational mastery session. So, what's today's topic? Goals are great. Now what? So, last week we talked about the value of having a process, right? And I gave you 6 ways, really 6 questions or approaches essentially that I use to navigate conflict, particularly within relationships, right? And I have this process of asking these questions in place because I have a goal. And my goal that I talked about is for creating the best possible relationship with my significant other. I don't want to wish for the best possible relationship. I don't want to just hope that it will magically happen or kind of all work out, right? I want to be an active designer of that occurring. And I want to consciously create through very intelligent questioning and practices what I believe is going to nourish me and nourish my partner and nourish the we. So today we have a goal, right? And for me, it's creating the best possible relationship. For you, it might be to lose 20 pounds. It might be to run a marathon. It might be to write a book. It might be to start blogging. The goal is the outcome. The goal is the outcome that we are aiming for. Now, the process is that space in the middle between where we are now and where we want to be, what we want to achieve, where we ask the really reflective questions and engage in the effective actions to get closer to that goal and really to develop the skills that are going to be necessary for achieving it. But there's one other element that is part of this structure that if it's missing, the whole thing kind of falls apart, and that's the system. Okay, so I can have a goal and I can have a process, but without the system, we're lacking the framework for actually engaging in the process. And that's what we're talking about today. We can kind of look at it like a pyramid, all right? And at the bottom of the pyramid, at the base of it, that's your system. The process is the middle, as I mentioned, and then the very top, that's the goal. That's that kind of finite achievement outcome, right? The goal doesn't last like a process does, or a system, a structure that we have in place. The goal is achieved and then typically we're moving on. But that's why the process and the system is so important, because we're going to be moving on. But let's get back to the point. I want to break it down with a really practical example. So let's take the goal of losing 10 pounds. Here's my process. I need to track my food, right? I need to know those metrics, have the data, be able to gather the data. I need to choose healthy food most of the time. There I'm getting into a system. I need to move my body. I need to exercise. I need to be active. I need to prepare my own food, right? And I need to weigh myself every day, part of the metrics. Every day. Again, I'm getting into the system. Here's the system. I need to do all of these things daily, okay? When I say I need to track my food every day is the system. That's the structure. If I just say I'm going to track my food, but I don't have a system in place for doing so, or haven't identified the frequency with which I'm going to do so, it falls apart, right? The goal isn't going to be achieved as effectively. I'm just going to kind of be all over the place. I need to develop my system the frequency with which I'm going to do these, and how and when I'm going to do them, to create a pattern. Okay, to create I need rituals. Why is this important? Because patterns and rituals help us develop habits, right? And that's what all of us want. We want to be able to do these things without having to think so much about them, to have them become installed and become automatic. So with my best relationship goal, I have the process of asking myself those powerful questions, those 6 things that I identified in the previous session. And then the system is what holds me accountable to asking myself those 6 questions, okay? For engaging in the process. So what is it? I journal. And when do I journal? I journal daily. I journal before I go to bed. It's a ritual. It's become a habit for digging in, asking the questions, and then like identifying my intentions for the following day. Identifying the intentions for the following day is part of the process. The system is sitting in my bed before I go to sleep, pulling out my journal and doing that as a discipline. So ultimately, guys, it's the system that really helps us establish when and how and where and how frequently we're going to engage in the processes that essentially really key in on 3 prominent areas of our lives. These processes need to key in on these 3 areas: the thinking area, the being area, actions, and then the feeling area. All right? So, go back to the weight loss goal. If your goal is to lose weight, then we have to actively be reflecting daily upon what we need to learn and what it is that we need to grow into, right? As we track our food, as we make healthy choices, as we go on vacation and our routines change, as we exercise and we move daily and we're noticing like everything that's kind of occurring on the inside and on the outside that may be getting in the way or really kind of helping us to move forward with greater momentum, as we eat out less often, as we weigh ourselves, and then as we choose the individuals too who we want to be in proximity to, who can really kind of influence us positively. So guys, reflecting, being able to sit down, ask the questions, ponder, wonder about the experience itself, what we're learning, what we think we need to do more of, and why. That's the thinking area. Reflecting is the thinking area. If our goal is to lose weight, we have to take those actions that I just mentioned. We have to do all the things, right? Because it's in the doing that we bridge the gap between where we are, again, and the goal, where we want to be. The weighing, the measuring, the tracking, all of that. That's the being area. That's the practical stuff. It's the doing, okay? It's taking action. And then, finally, we have to really kind of ascertain whether we're feeling into a goal in the way that's going to net us the best overall success. And this kind of boils down to those intrinsic factors versus the extrinsic factors. If we're feeling into a goal with our focus being on this is how I want to look, and this is the exact number on the scale that I want to weigh, and this is the size of clothes that I want to fit into, and this is what I want people to think about me when I finally reach that pinnacle of physical success, right? It's totally image driven. That isn't a feeling that is going to net us the best long-term enduring success. It's extrinsic. Can it propel us forward in a lot of cases? Yes, but not in an enduring way. If we're feeling into a goal intrinsically. You know, we're focused on really what we're learning and how curious we're becoming and what we're growing into as a result of this journey. Actually enjoying that process and engaging in the path. Okay? That's different. That's a feeling that can really generate enthusiasm and a sense of vitality. And guys, it allows us to keep moving forward through setbacks more effectively too. If we're just focused on a number, you know, something like that, and we mess up, it's going to be a lot harder to get back up. Because the mindset's not there. The heart, the feeling isn't there that's connected to something much, much bigger, okay? That paying attention to what I like to call an expansion feeling or a contracting feeling, like, ugh, like we're putting on our armor here, this is uncomfortable, I'm not open, I'm not open-minded, I'm not curious. That's that like closing in on ourselves. We feel that in our bodies. Paying attention to that expansion and contraction, that's the feeling area. So thinking, being, and feeling. The processes that we engage in allow us to hit on those three key areas when we are moving toward a target, a goal, okay? So let's put in a little nutshell here, summarize. The system is what guides you through your process. The system includes your patterns, your rituals, okay? The disciplines, the whens and the wheres, and the how oftens that are in place for you to engage the process. Ultimately, your system, it brings you back to something really important. It brings you back to the question of, am I working? Am I taking personal responsibility? Am I engaging in what I need to in order to see this through? Versus, is this working? Okay, that takes it externally. Yeah, that's sometimes a generative question to ask, but it's usually something internal that needs to happen. Takes us back to, am I working, doing the work, versus is this working? All right, guys, that was a mouthful. Goal, process, system. Do you have all three? We love to set goals. It's fun to set a goal. Do we have the system and the process in place to be able to meet it? All right, enjoy your day. Enjoy your week.